Are you over 50 and wondering why your blood flow feels different than it used to, like your body just doesn't circulate the way it did in your 30s? Do you notice colder hands and feet, slower warm-ups in the gym, a heavier feeling in your legs after sitting, more stiffness in the morning, less reliable performance in the bedroom, and a general sense that your body takes longer to turn on? And then you do what most people do. You buy the expensive nitric oxide powders, the circulation gummies, the superfood drinks, the mystery herbal blends, and the thing still feels inconsistent. Here's the shock. For a lot of people after 50, the problem isn't that you're missing some exotic supplement. It's that your daily hydration habits are quietly training your blood vessels to stay tighter than they need to be. And the alternative is so simple and cheap, it almost feels insulting. Stop defaulting to ice-cold water and add one mineral that helps your vessels relax and respond like they're supposed to. Most people have been doing the common thing wrong. Most people don't realize how logical their routine sounds. You've heard drink more water for decades. You've heard stay hydrated for circulation. So you do it. You carry the bottle. You pack it with ice because cold feels refreshing and clean. You take big gulps because you're trying to hit a number. 8 glasses, 10 glasses, a gallon. You drink it fast in the morning, fast after coffee, fast after workouts, fast with meals. It feels disciplined. It feels healthy. And then when circulation feels sluggish, you assume you need more stimulation, a stronger pre-workout, a stronger supplement, a stronger pill. And the thing is, that's the exact mindset trap, trying to force blood flow instead of supporting the biology that creates blood flow. Here's the real reason the common approach fails. Blood flow is not just plumbing. It's not just more water equals more flow. Blood flow is regulation. Your blood vessels are living tissue. They respond to temperature, stress signals, nervous system tone, hormones, inflammation, and minerals that control smooth muscle contraction and relaxation. After 50, your margin for error shrinks because the endothelium, the inner lining of your blood vessels, can become less responsive, and your baseline stress response can be higher even if you don't feel stressed. So what looks like a small habit, ice-cold water, can become a repeated signal that nudges your vessels toward constriction. The reveal is simple and practical. If you want better blood flow, stop triggering unnecessary constriction and support the relaxation side of the system. That's where magnesium comes in. Biology over marketing. Most people don't realize the first hidden factor is nervous system balance. When something cold hits the mouth and throat, your body reads it as a temperature event. Temperature events activate reflexes. One of those reflexes is sympathetic activation, the part of your nervous system that tightens peripheral vessels to preserve core heat and maintain stability. Think of your blood vessels like adjustable garden hoses with little valves. The sympathetic system can tighten the valves. It's useful in the cold outdoors. It's useful in an emergency. But if you keep hitting that reflex again and again during the day, especially first thing in the morning, you are repeatedly pulling the tighten lever. The common method loses effectiveness because you're chasing blood flow while you're also training your body to clamp down. The better alternative naturally solves this by making your default water neutral or slightly warm, especially in the morning and around activity, so you stop flipping on that constriction reflex unnecessarily. Here's the analogy. Imagine you're trying to get better traffic flow in your city, so you buy faster cars. But every morning you also lower the speed limit and close 2 lanes because you like the feeling of control. Faster cars won't fix closed lanes. That's what stimulants and fancy circulation supplements are like when your nervous system is repeatedly pushing constriction. The key is to open the lanes first. Temperature is one way to stop closing lanes. Another overlooked factor is smooth muscle calcium signaling. Blood vessels have smooth muscle in their walls. Smooth muscle contraction is heavily influenced by calcium moving into cells and turning on contraction machinery. Relaxation happens when that contraction machinery is turned down, calcium is handled properly, and relaxation pathways dominate. Magnesium plays a special role here because it functions like a natural counterbalance to calcium's contraction signal. The key is not that magnesium is a magic vasodilator. The key is that magnesium supports the body's ability to relax smooth muscle instead of staying stuck in a constricted state. The common method loses effectiveness because people try to force vasodilation with stimulants while the underlying tone of smooth muscle remains tight. The better alternative helps restore balance. Less unnecessary constriction signals, plus magnesium support for the relaxation side. Think of calcium as the go signal for tightness and magnesium as the ease off signal, not opposite enemies but partners. You need both. But after 50, many people are functionally tilted toward go all day. Stress hormones, caffeine, poor sleep, inflammation, dehydration patterns, and yes, temperature habits. That tilt shows up as tighter vessels, colder extremities, and less responsive circulation. Another overlooked factor is endothelial signaling, especially nitric oxide. People talk about nitric oxide like it's something you buy, but nitric oxide is actually a molecule your endothelium produces when it senses healthy conditions, like good shear stress from movement and a stable metabolic environment. Nitric oxide tells smooth muscle to relax through a cascade that involves a messenger called cGMP. In everyday language, nitric oxide is like a text message that says, open up, let flow through. When that message is weak or drowned out by stress signals, flow becomes less smooth and less reliable. The common method loses effectiveness because it treats nitric oxide like a powder while ignoring the conditions that allow nitric oxide signaling to work. The better alternative supports the environment, less reflex constriction, more consistent mineral balance, more stable nervous system tone. Another overlooked factor is delivery speed versus delivery quality. Many people chug cold water quickly. They think volume is the goal. But what's happening is you're delivering a fast sensory stimulus and a fast mechanical load. The body reacts quickly. It's not just hydration, it's a signal event. If you want blood vessels that respond well, you want less shock and more rhythm. The common method loses effectiveness because it uses shock. Ice water, big gulps, then a rush of caffeine, then another shock. The better alternative is rhythm, smaller sips, neutral temperature, consistent electrolytes, and magnesium support so the system stays calm. Another overlooked factor is the stress response. After 50, many people live with a slightly higher baseline cortisol and adrenaline tone, even if life seems normal. You might sleep a little lighter, you might wake up a little earlier, you might carry stress in your shoulders. That matters because adrenaline tightens vessels. And if you stack cold water on top of that, you're adding another tighten message. This is why some people notice they feel more tense, more jittery, or even get a subtle clamp feeling in the body when they combine ice water and caffeine. The common method loses effectiveness because people try to fix blood flow with more stimulation, when stimulation often worsens the tightness. The better alternative is supporting parasympathetic tone, warmer hydration, slower intake, magnesium, and movement that improves blood flow naturally. Another overlooked factor is tissue-specific circulation. People think of blood flow like one thing, but circulation is local. Hands and feet, legs, pelvic tissues, brain. Each region responds to different cues. Peripheral tissues often constrict, first when the body senses cold or stress. That's why you can have a normal blood pressure reading and still feel cold hands or sluggish pelvic circulation. The common method loses effectiveness because it focuses on numbers and ignores local regulation. The better alternative uses local friendly signals, warmth, movement, and smooth muscle support. Now let's talk about the mineral. The mineral is magnesium, not because it creates a dramatic instant surge, but because it supports the exact biology people over 50 struggle with: smooth muscle relaxation, nervous system stability, and metabolic pathways that create steady energy and better vascular responsiveness. Here's the real reason magnesium is so often overlooked. It's boring. It doesn't come with a dramatic pump feeling. It doesn't market well, but the body likes boring. The body likes consistent. Most people don't realize there's a difference between hydration and hydration that actually gets used. Plain water is important, but hydration is not just H2O. It's fluid balance across cell membranes. That balance is regulated by electrolytes and transport mechanisms. Magnesium participates in hundreds of enzyme reactions, including those related to ATP, the energy currency that powers cellular transport pumps. When ATP production is strained, cells handle minerals and fluids less efficiently. That can show up as fatigue, cramps, tension, and yes, less resilient vascular tone. The common method loses effectiveness because people treat water like a magic lever while ignoring the mineral infrastructure that helps the body use water properly. The better alternative is to hydrate in a way that supports transport. Neutral temperature water plus magnesium as a foundational mineral. Now let's layer this with a clear analogy. Imagine your body is a house with plumbing and electricity. Water is the plumbing. But the pumps that move water rely on electricity. Magnesium is not the water. It's part of the electrical system that helps the pumps work smoothly. If you keep pouring water into the house but the pumps are weak and the valves are stuck tight, you won't get good flow where you want it. Supporting the pumps and relaxing the valves changes everything. So how do you integrate this practically without turning your life into a science project? First, change your default hydration temperature. You don't have to fear cold water forever, but stop making ice water your baseline, especially in the morning. Start your day with room temperature water or slightly warm water. That alone removes a repeated constriction cue. Second, don't chug, sip. Take in water over 10 to 20 minutes instead of in 2 giant gulps. You're training your nervous system toward calm rhythm, not shock. Third, add magnesium consistently. You can do this through magnesium-rich foods, and if you choose, a simple magnesium supplement. The key is consistency, not intensity. Fourth, pair hydration with gentle movement. A 5-minute walk after you hydrate helps your blood vessels get a natural shear stress signal that supports endothelial function. Fifth, consider timing. Many people do well taking magnesium later in the day because it supports nervous system relaxation and muscle recovery. Sixth, keep the habit simple. 1 glass of neutral temperature water in the morning, 1 glass midday, 1 glass early evening, and magnesium consistently with food or in a routine slot so you don't forget. Now let's handle objections, because this is where people talk themselves out of simple solutions. What if you forget and you grab ice water out of habit? Then you don't panic. You're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to change the default. If you do ice water occasionally, fine. Just don't make it your constant stimulus. The body responds to repeated patterns, not one-off events. What if digestion is sensitive and warm water feels weird? Start with room temperature. You don't need hot water. You just need to avoid the extreme cold stimulus as your baseline. Another objection, what if you tried magnesium before and it didn't do anything? Most people don't realize magnesium is not a stimulant. It doesn't create a dramatic feeling in a day. It supports baseline regulation over time. Also, consistency matters. Taking it randomly doesn't change the system. Another objection, what if you think higher dose equals better? That's the marketing mindset again. More is not always better. Too much magnesium at once can upset digestion, and megadosing without a plan can backfire. The key is the right dose consistently, alongside the lifestyle signals that let it work. Another objection, what if your goal is bedroom blood flow and you want something stronger? Here's the real reason that mindset traps people. The pelvic blood flow system is highly sensitive to nervous system tone. Stress constricts. Calm allows dilation. If you're stacking constriction cues all day, then trying to force dilation only at night, you're fighting your own signals. The better approach is to make the entire day more supportive. Reduce unnecessary constriction triggers, support smooth muscle tone, improve sleep, and improve endothelial responsiveness. Then bedroom blood flow becomes more reliable because the system is healthier, not because you forced a single moment. Now let's expand the benefits beyond blood flow, because when you get this right, you feel it everywhere. When your vessels relax and respond better, your hands and feet warm more easily. When your hands and feet warm, your body feels less stuck. When you're less stuck, you move more. When you move more, endothelial function improves. When endothelial function improves, nitric oxide signaling becomes more available. When nitric oxide signaling improves, exercise feels better, recovery improves, and even mental clarity can sharpen because brain perfusion responds to healthier vascular tone. When magnesium status improves, muscle cramps often lessen. Sleep can deepen. Stress resilience improves because the nervous system isn't on a hair trigger. When sleep deepens, cortisol patterns stabilize. When cortisol stabilizes, vessels aren't being squeezed by stress hormones as often. And when that stabilizes, blood pressure can become more steady across the day. Everything connects. This is why the cold water after 50 message catches attention, but the real truth is deeper. The body isn't fragile, it's responsive. It adapts to the signals you repeat. If your default signals are cold shock, chug, stimulate, rush, your vessels learn tightness. If your default signals are neutral, steady, supported, calm, your vessels learn responsiveness. Here's the mindset shift. Stop chasing quick fixes and stop wasting money on products that promise dramatic circulation while you keep delivering daily constriction cues. The body isn't impressed by labels. It's not impressed by explosive. It responds to biological compatibility. Supporting beats forcing. Foundation beats hacks. And the foundation here is embarrassingly simple. Stop making ice-cold water your default stimulus. Support smooth muscle relaxation with magnesium and build a steady hydration rhythm your nervous system can trust. So here's your takeaway. Starting today, make your morning water room temperature. Sip it. Don't shock your system. Add magnesium consistently as a foundation, not as a gimmick. Pair hydration with light movement and better sleep habits. And then stop chasing the expensive pump solutions that give you an illusion of progress without changing the underlying signals. Adopt the simple foundation and let your blood vessels do what they were designed to do. Open, relax, and deliver flow when you need it.